Part 4.26 The Women in Nisa. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Sufi Essence, the spiritual catastrophe of remaining in a state of disbelief. We continue our profound exploration of Surah An-Nisa, the women. Having discussed the superiority of those who actively strive for Allah, we now turn to a verse of immense spiritual and ethical significance. This verse number 97 serves as a powerful and stark warning to those who remain in a state of disbelief and oppression, failing to migrate for the sake of their faith. It is a divine declaration that such individuals have committed a profound spiritual transgression, and their ultimate destination will be hell, a terrible and wretched place of final rest. This verse teaches us that faith is not merely a belief of the heart, but a dynamic force that demands action and sacrifice. It challenges the believer to reflect on their own level of commitment and to avoid the spiritual complacency that can lead to eternal damnation. The verse reveals that the state of spiritual stagnation and a refusal to act for the sake of Allah can lead to the gravest of all punishments. Verse: Indeed, those whom the angels seize while they are doing wrong to their souls, they will say, "In what state were you?" They will say, "We were oppressed in the earth." They will say, "Was not the earth of Allah vast enough for you to migrate in it?" Then their refuge is hell, a terrible place of final rest. Kanzul Iman, Quran, The Women, 4-97. Context of revelation. This verse was revealed to address the situation of those believers who had accepted Islam but had failed to migrate from lands where they were being oppressed and persecuted. This was a critical issue in the early stages of Islam, particularly after the Hijrah, or migration to Medina. The community was divided into those who had made the great sacrifice of leaving their homes and wealth for the sake of their faith, and those who remained behind. This verse provides a clear and uncompromising ruling on the matter. It exposes the spiritual and moral weakness of those who choose to remain in a state of oppression when the means to escape were available. The verse clarifies that their failure to migrate was a spiritual failure, a form of wronging their own souls by prioritizing their worldly comfort over the demands of their faith. This context is essential as it shows the divine recognition of selfless sacrifice and the importance of active participation in the service of faith. It serves as a powerful encouragement for believers to step out of their comfort zones and to strive in the path of Allah, knowing that their efforts are not in vain. Explanation. This verse is a profound spiritual teaching that reveals the divine hierarchy of spiritual ranks and the ultimate consequences of spiritual stagnation. The verse begins with a direct and powerful statement. Indeed, those whom the angels seize while they are doing wrong to their souls. The phrase "doing wrong to their souls" is a powerful spiritual teaching. It signifies that the failure to act for the sake of faith is a direct injustice to one's own spiritual self. The angels, in their role as enforcers of divine judgment, then engage the individuals in a spiritual interrogation, asking, "In what state were you?" This question is a direct challenge to their spiritual complacency, forcing them to confront the reality of their choices. The individual's defense is weak and reveals their spiritual state. We were oppressed in the earth. They try to excuse their inaction by blaming their circumstances. This is a profound spiritual teaching that tells us that a person who blames their circumstances for their spiritual failures is not a true believer. The angels, in their divine wisdom, then provide the ultimate rebuttal. Was not the earth of Allah vast enough for you to migrate in it? This is the core of the verse's teaching. It is a powerful reminder that Allah has provided a vast world, and there is always a way to escape oppression and to live one's faith openly and freely. This question exposes their spiritual laziness and their lack of trust in Allah's provision. The verse concludes with a powerful and terrifying declaration. Then their refuge is hell, a terrible place of final rest. This phrase serves as a final and powerful warning, reminding us that the state of spiritual stagnation and a refusal to act for the sake of Allah can lead to the gravest of all punishments. The word refuge is used with a bitter irony. It implies that the very place they sought to avoid through their inaction is the place they will find themselves in for all eternity. It is a spiritual teaching that ensures we understand the gravity of our choices, and that we understand the profound importance of living our faith actively and sincerely. Sufi perspective. From a Sufi perspective, this verse is a lesson in the spiritual reality of effort and sacrifice. The Sufi understands that the true struggle is the greater struggle against the ego. The physical struggle of migration is a manifestation of this internal spiritual battle. The individuals who remained behind were not only physically passive, but their spiritual state was also stationary. The Sufi understands that true spiritual progress requires constant effort and a willingness to sacrifice one's comfort, desires, and attachments. The promise of doing wrong to their souls is a direct reference to the spiritual state of the ego. The ego, in its love for comfort and ease, is a direct obstacle to spiritual progress. The verse serves as a powerful reminder of what happens when this purification is neglected. The punishment of hell is not just a sentence, but a natural consequence of a soul that has become so filled with darkness and attachment to the world that it can no longer reside in the presence of light and mercy. The verse's question, was not the earth of Allah vast enough, is a spiritual teaching that speaks to the vastness of Allah's mercy and the endless possibilities for a sincere believer to act. The Sufi sees the worldly life as a place of trial and striving, and those who embrace this reality are the ones who are elevated in the sight of Allah. The verse is a powerful reminder that the path to spiritual health lies in action, humility, and a profound reverence for all of creation. The Zia-ul Quran interpretation. The scholarly commentary in Zia-ul Quran by Pir Muhammad Karim Shah. Al-Azhari sheds light on the immense spiritual significance of this verse. He explains that this verse serves as a profound warning to the community of believers against allowing their spiritual values to be eroded by worldly desires. He notes that the verse provides a clear and uncompromising legal principle. A declaration of faith is sufficient for a person to be given safety and protection. Pir Muhammad Karim Shah al-Azhari highlights the profound psychological wisdom of the verse, explaining that it perfectly captures the state of a person whose faith is superficial and whose allegiance is to their own worldly well-being. He argues that the verse introduces a humane and just system that honors sacrifice and commitment. The commentary posits that Allah, in His perfect wisdom, established a law so clear that it would force the community to recognize that the life of a human being is beyond price and that the path to true spiritual wealth lies in justice and mercy, not in greed and suspicion. Pir Muhammad Karim Shah al-Azhari also emphasizes the political and military implications of the verse, which establishes a clear code of conduct for times of war, preventing the unjust killing of non-combatants or those who surrender. The commentary argues that we should not question the wisdom of Allah's commands, but accept them as an expression of His perfect knowledge and wisdom, which uncovers the hidden truths of the human heart. Hadith. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught, the first thing that will be judged among people on the day of judgment are killings. Sahih al-Bukhari Hadith 6864. This hadith beautifully illustrates the core spiritual principle of the verse. It provides a simple yet profound teaching that places the sanctity of life at the very pinnacle of Islamic law and morality. The hadith, in conjunction with the Quranic verse, affirms that true faith is an active state of being that includes a profound reverence for the life of every human being, and especially the life of a fellow believer. This hadith underscores the divine order of justice, where the most fundamental right, the right to life, is the first to be addressed in the final reckoning. Another relevant hadith highlights the spiritual loss incurred by the one who does not strive. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught, whoever dies without having fought for the sake of Allah, or having the desire to do so, dies upon a branch of hypocrisy. Sahih Muslim. This hadith adds a layer of spiritual depth to the Quranic verse. It teaches that the act of remaining passive is not just a neutral choice, but a spiritual one that can have grave consequences. It signifies a spiritual lack of commitment and a hidden disease of the heart. The hadith provides a clear and powerful teaching that a person who is not willing to strive for Allah's cause has, in a profound spiritual sense, left the protection and mercy of their own religion. This spiritual excommunication is the real punishment, and all the others mentioned in the verse are its natural and inevitable consequences. And with this profound verse, our exploration of Allah's divine wisdom concludes for today. May this spiritual guidance illuminate our hearts and minds, filling them with the light of faith and understanding. And may Allah grant us the wisdom to live by the truths revealed in His sacred book, applying its teachings to every aspect of our lives. May He accept our sincere efforts and forgive our shortcomings, showering His blessings upon us, our families, and our communities. May He guide us on the straight path and grant us a noble end, and may His peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you all. May our hearts remain steadfast in His remembrance, and may our lives be a testament to His love and mercy. May we always strive to be among those who are active in His way, sacrificing our comfort for His pleasure. May our knowledge be a source of benefit for ourselves and for all of humanity. May Allah elevate our spiritual ranks and grant us a place in the highest of heavens. And may we be counted among His blessed servants forever in His grace.